My dog is so grumpy. It's great. She's just lying over there in the spot in the sunlight. Good morning. Good morning. My Tay bowl that I got from the Museum of Asian Art. That place is cool. Got to package up. This is a Combat Barbie earrings. Oh crap, I've also got to make some earrings, don't we? First we're gonna sign the books. And like I started my new project. This is gonna be my travel project for the bus. So this whole thing is full of beads. And here is the start of the dress. It's the chaotically beaded dress. And I'm hopefully gonna put it all the way down the front. Unless it gets too heavy. But just it's so fun. You just grab a random bead out and put it on. So anyway, the top's gonna be pink and then the bottom's gonna be like this dark gray, super fine lace weight yarn that I have. Just tons of beads. This one's all crochet. All right. Release the books. Oh, we're getting so close to having a cover for Culting of America. Today I'm going to finish the workbook. At some point I'm going to finish the legal review, and then we'll have the final of the final of the final of the final versions of the final versions. This is a fun time in a book's life. And then I'll have 2 books. That will be very interesting. I mean, usually I'm knitting, but today I'm signing books about cults because it's knitting cult lady. Sometimes we can't knit because we're too busy signing books. Yeah, when I first got on YouTube, a couple of my people on my team were like, yeah, but is the knitting gonna like bring people that just want knitting content and then they're gonna be mad about what you're talking about? I'm not worried about it. Crafters like interesting things to listen to. And so many people have been like, I was just looking for something interesting to listen to while I knit, and oh my gosh, I found you. Oops. I have a needle right there. I definitely didn't vote for Trump. I think you can tell that in every part of my appearance. I am, in fact, Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I'm a blue-haired, basket-weaving, liberal arts-holding woman with a master's degree from Harvard and military experience and a best-selling book who doesn't give a fuck about him. So, anyway. So the Combat Barbie earrings. They're going off to a new home. Tucking all the loose ends. when people say they don't have the patience for knitting, it's just like people think of knitting as this like grandma hobby because it's like boring. And it's like, that's only while you're learning. Then once you know how to do it, you can like I knit while I'm walking around. Knit while you're reading, knit while you're talking to people. And we had the big marketing meeting of meetings. And my marketing guy, Jared, was just like, just watching the knitting. I was like, yeah, I know. I am getting paid to be knitting. That's the great part. People will be like, what is your real job? And like, I knit, talk to the internet, and I write books about cults. That's my job. That's my job. Knitting's Morse code. That's what we are. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the cover was my agent, when I got the big book deal, he was like, all right, you get to throw one hissy fit in this process. Save it for the cover. And I did, and I did. We got to a good cover. And I'm glad I didn't insist on my cover. I also got voted out this cover. Like, I'm never the one that gets to decide my book cover. I listen to experts. It's my real job. I just made a job where I just knit and talk to the internet. Sometimes write books, sometimes travel, write it off on my business because I was knitting and talking to the internet while I was traveling. It's not bad. Hey, firemen. Yeah, I know what that's like. It's not the same, but I worked with a lot of medical evacuation pilots, and there was a lot of that. And there's a lot of waiting around for emergencies to happen. My husband is a Chinook pilot, so he's worked with a lot of firefighters, like wildfires and stuff. They bring these things called Bambi buckets. They're just these giant buckets that hang from the helicopters. I'm explaining to everyone else. Obviously, the firefighter knows this. And they either have soil or water in them, and the helicopter just hovers over and dumps it. I think. I could be describing that wrong. Didn't get involved in those missions because those were inside the United States, and military intelligence officers cannot collect intelligence on American citizens. So anytime we were doing a mission in America, we would have to get an FBI briefing. And that's all I participated in. Firemen teach you the best way to install. Yep. Firemen are great. You know, as they say, nobody has ever written a F the Fireman song. I'm sure it's still super culty, but mission-based jobs tend to get like that. Light fires to burn back to the main fire. Yeah, I've heard of that. I think I talk about firefighters and cops a little bit in Culting of America, just the like, when you leave that environment and you don't have that mission and that adrenaline and like, Mr. Knitting Cult Lady a few months ago was looking at flying like civilian medical flights because I miss being part of that team. Anyway, he's not doing that. yeah, my job's fun. I mean, it took me a long time to make it make money, but now it's fun. Got out of the army and I was 28 years old, 6 months pregnant, and I was like, okay, I'm really good at being an expert. What am I going to be an expert on next? And I looked at my, civilian resume, and it's like, okay, you can work in physical security. So I worked at Microsoft in physical security, and I was like, this is the most effing boring part of my job. Like, part of the problem of being a military intelligence officer is that your job is boring AF when you're at home, but it's exciting when you're deployed. And like your life is crappy. So it's like, you never get to enjoy your life and your job at the same time. So I was like, why did I go into this? Then I got sort of quiet fired-ish, contractor stuff. Just like, okay, the contract's done. And that was kind of the best thing that ever happened to me. And I was like, okay, cults, culture. It was really becoming a mom too, even just being pregnant, where like every culture has these rules for what you're supposed to do or you'll ruin your baby. And like a bunch of them contradict each other. And I've lived in many of these different cultures, and it's just like, so anyways, I was like, culture. Can't spell culture without cult. So I decided I wanted to get paid to talk about culture for the rest of my life at a national or international level. And I was like, I see 3 ways to do that. I can write a book, I can get a PhD, I can start a leadership consulting company. So being a cult baby, I started all 3. The book broke first. Ended up with a master's in organizational psychology. But during that process, it was like, I would say it was like 5 years of me very heavily studying like leadership theory and groups and society. And then finally I was like, I should do this inside of a master's program because I am just doing this anyway. Masters are great. PhD, I've decided no, not even a little bit. Anyway. So what I started to realize, like, I know a lot about bad groups. So maybe I should focus on that. And all the straight white men said, ha ha ha, what are you gonna do with that? You're never gonna make any money. You're gonna have to talk about good groups too. And give us some little slingy slogans, like 5 things we can learn from cults. And I was like, I'm not gonna. So then I went out and predicted that I was gonna be the Taylor Swift of cults. Perfect shirt to be wearing when I say that. My marketing guy likes it. He's like, Taylor Swift with cults and something, something. He's like, oh yeah, I would pick that up. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Uncultured is in bookstores on Amazon. And this is Macmillan's book, not mine. I'm just the best reseller of it. Culting of America. If you buy a signed copy from me, you're investing in the next book, The Culting of America, which is coming out on January 20th. We're opening pre-sales August 5th. So I'm excited to show you all the cover. Even though I didn't get the cover I wanted, the cover's a movement. I love it so much. Yeah. We're gonna have an art print with the launch that says cults always promise space travel. And so then obviously we're gonna have like a space travel era in January. Just be prepared for the fluffiness and the sparkleness and the space costumes that I will make. Twill be glorious. So, they think I'm a federal agent over on TikTok again today. My costume for Halloween just gets more fun every time. I'm going to be a psychological operation. But if you ever wanted to, for example, identify David Berg was the founder of Children of God. And inarguably a horrible, terrible person. Yeah. The River and Joaquin Phoenix cults. Oh yeah, I read a little bit on the musical this week. Like the whole opening song is scripted out. And I'm pretty excited. I think, so if you don't know, we have a knitting family van trip coming up. And we are going to drive the knitting cult van with the book cover on the side of it to Canada, well, to Buffalo, then to Toronto, then like across Canada, hitting like 4 places to Vancouver. Then we're going to do an event in Seattle, an event in Tacoma, an event in Portland, an event in Eugene, and then an event in San Francisco. And that might be as far as we get. We hope to do LA and San Diego, but we just don't know. Anyway, at either my LA or San Francisco event, I would really like to just like, you know, we'll be up like outside at a winery or something. Just like entertain everyone with the whole musical script. We're going to be in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, but not Boise. But also, like, our whole plan was to follow the Pacific Coast Highway, and I'm really gonna have to talk to Mr. Knitting Cult Lady about it again because I'm worried about the motion sickness. But also, if we decide we just want to get places faster, we'll just get on the highway. Yeah, I didn't realize UPS was supposed to pick that one up. I thought it was a different person, period. I have it all ready to go. I'm printing out 3,000 signed copies of Uncultured. So I have signed my name, I don't know, 3,500 times in the last 2 weeks. You know, when you say a word over and over again and then it loses all meaning, I didn't know that could happen with signatures, but it can. So this is in part because then we're set with signed books for the van trip, and we're just going to kind of meet up with people along the way. I forgot why I was saying that, but anyway, this is my book. Called Uncultured. It's about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and then going into the cult of the U.S. Army. And then the first time the cult leader was running America, I was like, you know, I think I have something to say. And I did. Good job. I wrote this during COVID too. This really intricate lace skirt that I knitted during COVID. And I always say, you know, We heard so much during the pandemic about how Shakespeare wrote Taming and the Shrew during their pandemic. And like, I read a book too, and I made lace, and took care of my own child, so am I better than Shakespeare? That sounds truly terrible for, yeah, people that were like single, just being by yourself. It's actually one of the things I say in Culting of America is like, now the whole world has just experienced this kind of like extreme isolation that you have growing up in a cult, or being in a one-one cult, or in a single family cult. Just isolation. Yeah. It changed everybody. So meanwhile, me and my Neural Spicy family learn that we all need to spend like 6 to 8 hours a day apart from each other. But it's very nice to have. It was very nice to have 3 people, 2 other people with me. Even if one of them was 4 and spicy. Yeah, nobody was ever held. Well, I mean, 2 men from Children of God have been convicted in Scotland because they took out the statute of limitations for crimes against children. But yeah, Jeremy Spencer, Fleetwood Mac, still out there. Although he had a stroke the other year, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Take it easy today. I'm tired. No, knitting is a verb. A cult is a group. You could have a cult around, like, where knitting was your product, like your labor that produced stuff, yes. And a lot of cults make people do fiber arts. That's part of why in Cult Baby, the musical, veterans included, we're going to have a bunch of knit and crochet costumes. It's going to be something else y'all can help with. And by help, I mean get paid for. Okay, so this, all right, this is so cute. Okay, I'm gonna do a love bomb of the month of the quarter club. So we'll learn to make these. Just imagine this has 2 stones that I'm gonna glue back in it. And you're gonna have to learn to make it from scratch because we're not gonna send you the jewelry. But like the yarn lady, she sent me these as stitch holders. And it's like, if you just put that on something with a loop at the end, that can be your jewelry, your love bomb collar fastening. And then if you have your own necklace you want to make it on, or you get yourself necklaces, then you just use it as a stitch holder, stitch marker. So this is the start of my chaotically beaded dress. Oh, beads are so fun. So this is, oh my gosh, probably 50 pounds of beads. It's a lot of beads. And I'm just going to show you all how to bead in crochet. Because the thing about beading in fiber arts is you're trying to put a bead on a yarn you don't have the end of, right? So you need a hook to be able to pull a loop through. So right now we're making a pretty basic, it's kind of a shell stitch. Let's just call it that. This is part of why crochet is so soothing. When people ask me like, how do you do what you do? I'm like, I spend 16 hours a day doing grandma hobbies. Okay, so then, okay, I'm doing it every other shell. I'm putting in a bead because I'm conscious about how heavy the dress is going to be. That's my big limitation. Okay, so all right, so now we're gonna put a bead on, right? So I'm going to grab a bead, this pearl. Okay. Some of them have big enough hole that I can just go through with my crochet hook. My glove is catching all these beads. Ooh, I'm gonna do that one instead. All right, so this one, I just go through with the crochet hook, right? Put it on. You don't think I could pick up 50 pounds? Honey, I literally wrote a best-selling book where in the opening scene, I'm holding 50 pounds straight above my head. I was a motherfucking soldier in the United States Army. I did 10-hour patrols with 50 pounds on my back. I made history for women. Sit the fuck down. Google me. I dare you. Daniela Nestanek Young, however you spelled that. So see how easy that was? We got it on. I was shit talking someone, so maybe I should show you again. Okay, so I'm gonna put the bead on your hook first. Then you wanna pick back up where you were, and then you put the bead on, and you just keep going. And the next one, we'll do a small one so I can show you the beading hook. Get there first. Oh, men, they never send their best. They never send their best. Just a rabbit running around after Tigger. Just so unserious. So unserious. I don't know why we let them be in charge. Okay, now you get a smaller one. Most of them I will need the beading hook. Ooh, amethyst bead. These are from Brazil where I grew up. So that's a tambour beading hook. If you put that into yourself or somebody, you will need to go to the hospital to take it out. Tips for crochet and revolution. Regular sharp all metal crochet hook too. You put that in a Yahtzee's arm, they'll need surgery. Okay, so it's on my hook. Now I gotta pull through. Some of these are so small that like I can't get the whole thread through. I've kind of decided it doesn't really matter so much for this dress, so I'll just take anything I can get, squish it back down, pull it through that, carry on like a soldier. Anyway, these super garbage cheap gloves didn't last like one usage, so that's a bummer. I hand knit some lace beaded gloves for my Little Mermaid costume for the princess party that I threw myself when I turned 36. Those were great. Senor. Anyway, it's very like, I just feel like ASMR. I'm throwing them back when I get ones that are too similar to ones I've already used because I want it to be more. Yeah, the bros are like this every day, but don't y'all worry. Every hate comment of theirs makes me money, so. Cultists literally cannot hurt me with their words. I estimate I've made about $10,000 across social media platforms just from hate comments on my blue hair. Like, you can tell me all day how dumb I am for $10,000. Thanks, sir. I'm an idiot. I used to have to pay to get my hair dyed. They try to taunt me with being overly masculine and like, little do they know I'm married to like the veteran they wet dream about. Like, Mr. Knitting Coat Lady is the white 6'2" special operations helicopter pilot, fucking glorious beard veteran that MAGA literally wet dreams about. And anytime they meet him, they're just like figuratively filleting him all over the place. It's so much fun to trigger them. So much fun. Oh, hon, I didn't have a father. I grew up in a religious cult called the Children of God. That's why I have a best-selling book. I have 3 fathers, and none of them were good peoples. Thanks. It's called Uncultured. You can listen to me read it to you on Spotify Premium or anywhere you get your audiobooks. You can get signed copies from me here. You can get them anywhere you want because it was a really major Macmillan audiobook. Or book, of which the New York Times said, a propulsive memoir delivered in the honest tones of a young woman who didn't always think she'd get to live to tell her story. This person's gonna get a sticker. Thanks. I love this outfit. Oh man, I gotta make the other pair of earrings. That's what I've gotta do now. Okay, might as well stop beading. Anyway. How you bead with crochet. And then I have to do the whole backside, which is just boring before I get to bead another round. So this is just gonna be like my long-term summer project. If it does get too heavy, it'll just be like a beaded collar, then the dress, then more beads on the skirt, but we'll see. We shall see. Of course, I heard a bunch of beads hit the floor, but I don't know where they are, so hooks going back in there. It does seem fitting to read it over 4th of July weekend. Oh my god, that is one heavy thing of beads. Tomorrow, Mr. Knitting Cult Lady is going to buy the Knitting Cult RV, which is probably just going to be called Knitting Cult Van. And we're going to start getting ready. We're going to put a book cover on it. So good, so good, so good. I made all these earrings and then I put them on my shops, but then I go places and I give them to people, and then somebody buys it from my shop and I have to make it again. So here I am, Xerxes, how? Right, so YouTube gets lives on Fridays and Wednesdays, I think. Insta's gonna get the first live of the week on Mondays. I'm recording my sit rep. Lots of stuff to talk about today. And then I gotta finish the workbook. And then, oh my God, I'm gonna do nothing all weekend. Yes, I'm glad you're inspired. This is like, you call me Army third order effect, but like something I never thought about, but is very cool. It's like all the people that are like, oh, I'm inspired to like craft again. Amazing. Hobbies in general are very important for happiness, and grandma hobbies specifically are good for overcoming trauma, healing and rewiring your brain, all that jazz, and all that jazz. We went to Broadway and we saw Chicago, and I'm writing a Cell Block 6 tango parody for Cult Baby the Musical, veterans included. All right. It's so funny when y'all show up here in my kitchen and get mad at me, like, what are you doing with your life? What is going on with your life, sir? So Tara got her cult coat already. And now I am shipping her a bunch more jewelry. These are my "you're free to leave anytime" earrings. See, the charm actually says freedom. And obviously these are the Wicked Edition ones. And I'm sad to see them go because I was rocking them last week. Creating is amazing. And like, you know, people always say like, oh, people want to make a difference, leave their mark on the world. And like, people want to do something that is not forgotten. Like, it's really cool when you write a book. You're like, you just made yourself immortal. The price of this is $15 for the earrings usually, I think. There are some in my shop. Hello, I'm good. How are you? Most of my earrings are so big I have to take out the box stuffing. Alright. Ooh, and soon we're gonna have Knitting Cult Lady stickers. We love making chains. Oh. Chains from India. It's like, India's like so high on my list to go to. Remember I told Mr. Knitting Cult Lady, I don't want to hear, like, I will spend at least $1,000 on jewelry. Not to mention the gold bangles I will also go get. Look at all these jewelry shops. Anyway, we're gonna do, as I was saying, Love Bomb of the Quarter Club, which I think is gonna be great. Okay, I have to see. Oh no, I have to see on here. I have to pause you for a minute. Okay, I'm back. Triangle piece. I'm sure Tara would be cool if I sent her a different charm. Anyway, mostly I'm selling my stuff on TikTok. think this shop here, I just have this stuff that's like easy to replicate over and over again, because TikTok makes sales the easiest, even though they then turn around and like kick me off their platform all the time. So everything has a downside. Hey, New Zealand! Been to Australia twice, but I have never been to New Zealand. I would very much like to go. There's like a cult movie that I consulted on, but was also in a tiny piece of, that's debuting in Australia next year. I'm like thinking about going. Pliers. Good pliers. I have to hide them from knitting Cult Baby. She's just like a scissor plier tape monster. So anyway, these weeks have been very front-loaded and intense because we're getting ready for the trip. And just because knitting Cult Baby's in camp, so I have time to try to do everything. Later I'll post the cult situation report. This is my way that I'm sneakily teaching my talent manager and my admin how to be intelligence analysts, because they like collect stuff for me all week, leave me these notes, and then of course I've been making videos all week, so I like know what. Anyway, it's basically, so in the Army, every Friday, every commander or like head of what we call a section, but like intelligence, as the senior intelligence officer, every Friday I have to send a report to my boss that's just like everything we did that week. And in my case, it's everything the bad guys did, right? So it's just the intelligence briefing roll up. So now I do on YouTube almost every Friday cult situation report, where I talk about everything that happened in the world of cults and in my world of cults. And it's fun. So come back for that if you can already know that. Speaking of cartoons, there's a section in The Culting of America, my next best-selling book, about how cults always have cartoons. And I was thinking about it for a very long time, because my stepfather was like a cartoonist for the Children of God, as was Jeremy Spencer of Fleetwood Mac, who was also a pretty good hand drawer guy. And then of course, when you start, like, all cults are the same. So when you start studying them, you start seeing the patterns. And that's why we have Cult Book Club, so that people can start to see and recognize those patterns and realize that their story isn't that unique. Safety Brief Fridays. Yes, of course. Don't fry bacon naked. And yet they could never tell people not to rape people. It's part of my 10-point plan to stop rape culture in the militaries on Safety Brief Fridays. Literally say out loud, don't rape people. People are like, you can't control behavior in the military. Nobody walks on the grass. You can control behavior in the military. That's the whole effing point. I'm making earrings. These are my fringe belief earrings. And these ones are called Nothing is Black and White. I gave them just crazy names. One, because it's fun, and two, because then I can just trade them out easier than if it's a descriptive name. Lady. own book. So she got the Wicked ones, she got these ones, and she got these ones. So I got these two in the same piece. And the book, she's gonna be like all, and a fuzzy cult vest, so Tara's gonna be all kitted out in Knitting Cult Lady swag, like reading the book. So I'll have to give you a good note. My earring tree is getting skinned again, so I have to probably this weekend make a bunch of tassel earrings. Because, you know, why not? Figured out, like when I can't go to sleep, I just think of all the next projects I'm gonna do, and I'm usually sleeping, but sometimes I'll just get to like 5 years from now and be like, I wonder what I will be creating then. Hopefully the musical will be out, a bunch of you will be in it, you know, the good stuff. Most of the sergeant majors weren't baked. Maybe by the time they were sergeant majors, they were like, who's gonna... Two... Yeah, and a book. Oh, downstairs. Enjoy. Mr. Knitting Cult Lady has to take a 3-hour math test. He's struggling pretty hard with this math class. Summer class. Oh, Queen. The tyrants with loads of color and joy. That's the Uber Premium signed book. Sneaky little note at the back that they'll never find unless they read it. Ha. I'm always like, it's funny how many people will buy your book and not read it, and then I'm like waves dramatically around a house with 200 books that I had not yet read. Okay, sister. Okay. With your label, Tara. We're doing so good. I want to make another set of, when I remake it for me, that's when I know I really like it. But it's still hard because when I'm wearing something in a video and someone's like, oh my God, I want it. And it's just something I made. I'm like, okay, buy it. I'll make another one. And I usually don't, but sometimes I do. But like, every time I send one of my collars away, I'm like sad. And crafters get it. And for a lot of people, they're like, that's why I don't monetize my crafts. But I'm like, but I just think about who it's going to, and that makes me happy. Like, it's like I'm packing it off to a new home where I hope it finds love, and it will probably find more love than at my home, because even if I love it, it's just like one in a stash of many. So, okay, tell me I have more green tassels. Don't break my heart. Oh. Ah! I do have a storefront on here. And basically, you can buy any pair of earrings from me, and then just leave in the comments what do you want me to do. So these ones I always wear with my green two-piece suit that I didn't buy together, but I think I just reunited two pieces that were made together in the first place, because otherwise it's a crazy match. And I found it in New York. I found a bead shop that was like 2 floors and just amazing. And like, it has a tassel section, but the next time I go to the NYC, my goal is going to be to find the tassel shop. I just want to find a tassel shop. That'll be so fun. I'm just like supposed to be working, but I'm sitting here making jewelry because I'm exhausted and drained. These panic queens on TikTok got mad at me because I said we shouldn't revere our military, and she made a video that made it very clear that she was under the impression that revere means fear. I also don't think we should fear our military, but these children don't understand words. Ha. All right. So there we have it. Yeah, adorbsies. I do not think Civil War is coming now. I think we are both too technologically advanced and too commercialized and lazy and American for that. But, you know, we'll see. We shall see. My crystal ball is in the shop for the next 2.5 years. I need some purple tassel earrings. That needs to be a thing. Are we gonna do gold or silver? with silver. And yeah. For a second. Yeah. So it has always fascinated me. I mean, I've been a professional Cassandra since the age of 22, right? Because I was the intelligence officer. I'm just a bad guy. I'm here to tell you how it could go wrong. In physical security, we're here to tell you how it could go wrong. And just like the way people get so bothered by it, it's just always fascinated me. When I can't find anything I'm actually getting wrong, they're just like, well, she's a cult leader. My favorite is she doesn't like to listen to anyone. Like, I started these channels to transmit my expertise about cults. I sometimes chat. 500,000 people a day ask me questions. I sometimes answer them. But like, if you walk up to any expert and just tell them they're wrong without establishing any expertise of your own, they're not going to respond friendly to you. Like, that's not a cult leader. That's just called being a human. Never would have believed that civilians would try to explain how the military works to veterans. But they do, knowingly. Not even like doing the whole thing where they assume I can't be a veteran because I'm a woman. Obviously they do that too, but like knowingly. My favorite is, Ruth, you left the military a decade ago. Yeah, you don't think all my best friends are battalion commanders? Stop. Be serious. They're just deeply unserious. Deeply unserious. So, kind of a quiet day, I guess. Too ridiculous. Just saw a video of him autographing some girl's t-shirt. So, you know, now we've seen a president do that. Hey, Hawaii. Yep, the natural disasters are going to keep coming. That Texas thing was predicted. So it was predictable and predicted. I do think the Epstein files is going to be a crack in the brainwashing for a lot of people. And specifically because like that was the mission, right? That was what they weaponized to get a bunch of people into MAGA and to get them to push past all the stuff that didn't make sense, right? So now this is kind of like the apocalypse, the predicted apocalypse came and went. I've seen plenty breaking on that and had many stories. So that's just you and who you're talking to. We already know this is serving as a crack in the brainwashing for many, but the thing about cracks in the brainwashing is it can take years, if not decades, to still get those people out of, don't preach to me about pedophiles should be in jail. I grew up in the pedophile cult. Shh, sit down, the professor's talking. Okay, I'm not the morality police. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I'm here to talk about cults and cult think, okay? this is a crack in the brainwashing. It's already happening the same way as Signalgate was a crack in the brainwashing for people who have worked with secrets before. Now, a crack in the brainwashing can take forever. So just saying, nah, I'm not seeing it. Like, yeah. The pedophile cult. Go Google it. It's called the Children of God. Yeah. I'm the professor here and I'm talking. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay. So unserious. We're gonna make some orange ones. Where are the drippy drops? You know, your hate doesn't work because you're throwing a group of people at me, but I don't hate. I'm gonna have a whole drag queen era coming up, so you can tell me I look trans all you want. Thanks. Thanks. I'm beautiful doing it. Appreciate your comment, honey. I'm gonna spend it in Calgary this summer. This is what I mean. I don't know that I have any of the colors in YouTube because they are one of a kind at a time, and they usually get posted on TikTok, not on YouTube, unfortunately. Yeah, so my colors are only on TikTok, pretty much. Yeah, no, not my website or anywhere, because it's just, they sell faster there, and I've accidentally sold the same one too many times, so. So we're gonna be cute with some outfits. With some forthcoming outfits. Whoops. Oh, the cover of the book is so cool, you all. And we're starting pre-sales August 5th. But New Yorkers and Buffalonians and Torontorians, what do they call themselves? They're all going to get to see it ahead of time because it could be plastered on Knitting Cult Van. But then on August 5th, I'm going to do a very dramatic, like, pull a sheet down that Mr. Knitting Cult Lady will have to figure out how to hang for me. And be like, pre-sale starting 5, 4. Folks have been trying to pre-buy this book for like a year and a half now. We didn't think we were going to be releasing it during this kind of presidency, but here we are. Here we are. So we're going to talk about Diddy. We're going to talk about the Epstein list. And I don't think we can't really do a whole rainbow one because I realized that 5 of these large tassels is pretty heavy. I sold one to at least one person. And then I sent them a message to be like, you can take off the second and fourth tassels if it's too heavy. So weird that you would show up in someone else's kitchen and then say that you're bored. Like, are you not a grown-up? Are you not in charge of your own entertainment? Does your mommy need to help you with something, friend? So embarrassing. They just show up, they don't know where they are, or they tell on themselves, and you're just like, what is happening in your life, friend? It's time to get a grip. It's time to get a grip. People, but it's not that people want to be slaves. People want to be told what to do. Cults pop up in times of social turmoil because people are afraid. And they want to be told what to do. One of the things people don't like about my online presence is they don't tell you what to do. They give you a bunch of information, and I'm like, figure it out. People will be telling me like, the cult members aren't going to understand that. I'm like, I'm not here for them. I'm here to teach you so that you can go get them. That's how this works. So I scripted out the first song, which is the opening song. Is it a cult? My favorite line is, will it save, spit, or swallow your soul? But also the Joseph Smith character is pretty good. Dum, 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 dum. It is scary holding responsibility, but there's different kinds of responsibility. Like, I'm not a leader and I work very hard. I mean, that's not true. Actually, my top manager was just talking about this. She's like, there's this whole rumor that you're so mean and like your public persona, whatever, but like, ask anyone who works for you, like, how I make them feel. But I have not built any groups other than the company and the people that work for it. And I do that on purpose. Like, this is a community. This is an interesting space that I curate, that I bring in huge amounts of other people's stuff to. And like, other people can be other kinds of leaders. I'm just here to be the intelligence officer. Talk to you about bad guys. I think very specifically in the military, the intelligence officer can just blow up your day, your whole plan that you spent hours on. Just be like, nope, here. Walk away. Like, I don't have to care that you really want to go do it. You have to go get with tactical operations and figure out how you're going to fix all the holes I just blew in your plan. Like, not me. Who's actually paid to be the devil's advocate. It's quite a fun job. Quite a fun job. All right. So we got some reds, some laranjas, some greens, and some purples. I'm thinking like one of these. But let's see if we have a stick. I do crochet all the time. This is like a crocheted necklace. It looks funny because these stones are about to be glued back. They're about to be, maybe at some point I'll get to it. No, I have to get to it because it's for my favorite waitress. Some point before next Thursday, I will get to it. And we are doing a, gosh, I gotta figure out the place. I will do that today. But we are doing a happy hour in DC this month on the 24th, I believe it is. That'll be right before we leave on the van trip. This one's giving peacock. I have a lot of good peacock outfits. Naming yourself Jonathan Slack is a little weird to me. Am I getting that wrong? Minus proposal guy, wasn't that his name? Anyway, oh look, somebody bought a knitting cult pattern book. Yeah, I have those too. In the shop. Oh my gosh, I don't know what you all are talking about anymore. That's fine. We got to go. Still only 10:30. Good. All right. Spent all day playing with jewelry. So I suppose I shall bid you all farewell. Thanks for coming to my live. Check back for the cult situation report. Ooh, I'll get to show all these earrings that I just made in the nitpicking section. Fabulous. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you probably on Wednesday. You haven't watched my thing on how the 100-acre wood is a cult and how that helps us understand Donald Trump, you should watch it. Tigger's the cult leader, of course. Makes up his own name. Tells you he's the only one. Tells you you have to be scared of heffalumps and woozles. Meanwhile, he's bouncing all around, creating havoc. Yeah, they're good, right? It's very Seahawksy. So when I wear these, Mr. Knitting Cult Lady will immediately love me more.